Yo, yo, yo. Happy freaking Valentine's Day, everybody. So good to see you all. So good to see you, Mr. Bricks O'Brien. The love is in the air. The pink is in the background. He's got them rosy cheeks. He's ready to rock and roll. He's ready to show the world some love here in 2025.
Am I?
You
Yes.
look like it. You look. I'd cozy. I'd cuddle up on you.
Well, I feel great. I feel pretty good. The thing that I love the most is pizza, and I'm looking forward to eating a pizza all to myself on Valentine's night.
Are
proper.
you getting the heart-shaped pizza?
I don't think the place where I'm going to get it from offers it, and that's fine. I want like, so I've been trying to be better about like, not snacking at night. Let me cut out this, let me cut out that. And it's working. It's going well. But the only urge I had this week with how scrambled eggs my brain has been is that I just want to eat an entire large cheese pizza all to myself, one sitting down the whole thing. And I'm not going to do it. But
do it.
I want to.
Treat yourself 2025.
No, that's a big pizza. I would gain 10 pounds just from ingesting it. So I'm going to have part of it and then allocate it out, right? But like, I want to eat the whole thing in one sitting. That's what I would love for this Valentine's Day.
What's your go-to pizza? We joke all the time about Domino's. That's not your real go-to pizza place.
No. If I have the time and the bandwidth, Pizza Regina in Boston is by far the best pizza in and around Boston. Actually, I'm very privileged in that there are two pizza places that are very highly acclaimed near me that I could go to at any given time. And one of them I think tastes like cardboard. The other one is a Regina spinoff, Pocari's. So it's the same pizza, just not, in Boston, it was the proper, brick oven. You go in there, everybody gives you no consideration. They only have pizza and salad and soft drinks and alcohol, right? So there's no, can I get some bread? Can I get some? No, it's just pizza in the thing. So it's nice.
And you're just simple. You just go cheese, huh? You're not like load up the toppings with a bunch of.
I'll go like a pepperoni. I'll go with, a chicken parm kind of a deal. But a lot of the time, the cheese reheats the best. And obviously, if the pizza can be reheated and it still tastes good, that's how it's quality pizza. If it doesn't reheat well,
Do you get down with cold pizza? My family is all about this cold pizza thing. Like I can't walk by the fridge and pull out a slice of cold pizza and just go to town on it. And I swear to God, my family does it, and it literally skeeves me out.
So let's say you have a piece of pepperoni pizza, right?
Sure.
And it's straight out of the refrigerator cold. Generally speaking, you can see the pooled up bits of grease that are on the cold pizza. So when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's literally just oil and fat that I'm eating right there instead of like dapping up the pizza with the paper towel. I do that. I'm crazy. So that skeeves me out. That's why I don't do it.
Is that what you're saying? You pull it out and your pizza's judging you, so you have to cook it?
Yes.
Those judgmental puddles of grease staring into your soul.
That's what I was called in high school, a judgmental puddle of grease.
It's a very loving high school that you went to. Welcome into ZMB Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast, where we talk a lot about pizza as well as those plastic bricks that you do click together every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Most times you can catch us live over on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we love to see you there for those live shows because we do a fun little post show afterwards where we get to engage with you. And sometimes you even get some extracurricular activities and content, like when we found out that Build-A-Bear has an 18 plus section last week. That was a wild time, Brian. And now my Instagram feed is loaded up with Build-A-Bear 18 plus content. And frankly, I'm here for it.
Do you have a Zaddy shirt for Valentine's?
I wish I did. I tried to find one. I wanted the ringer version, and I didn't just want just a normal plain like whatever Zaddy t-shirt. Like I needed the ringer version. I really like, and I couldn't find one like that. So I was like, so my merch is all done through Fourth Wall, and I'm talking directly to you, Fourth Wall. You need to add ringer t-shirts to your collections. Please.
What's a ringer t-shirt?
It's the one that's got the colored rings around the neck and the sleeves.
Oh,
think of like your vote for Pedro shirt, right? Like
yeah.
I used
they got to add a lot of stuff, but yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah,
like I had to order this beanie separate. I have them on my shop, but they don't have the standard bold yellow. It's all like, more conservative colors, like who would wear a banana yellow beanie? So they didn't even include it. Like,
I figured you were trying to help like land planes or something out in the tarmac. I wasn't really sure.
Dude, there is. I don't think I have it near me. Oh, I do. Right here. So I'm a Starlight Children's Foundation ambassador, right? They sent me this beanie.
Oh boy.
Neon pink. Hot. And I'm like, what on earth?
Hot pink. My God.
I should wear this out to the clubs tonight. That's what I should do. Dude.
You should. I would.
Actually, that's kind of perfect. I might. It's Valentine.
Do it.
You know what? Hold on.
Do it. Do it. Let's do this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This will land me the target demographic, that KPI.
I guarantee it will. I love it. Do that. That's
fantastic. It looks like a sock.
It looks fantastic.
I got such a big head.
Do you get down with this whole like anti-Valentine's Day thing?
Anti-Valentine's Day is for the people that are too sad and lonely to appreciate love in any capacity. So yes, I do not get down with any of that nonsense. All right. You don't need to feel alone. Oh, I don't have the money. It is love in any capacity. Love for yourself, your tribe, your family. It's a day to celebrate love in whatever way that means for you. So don't be like, oh, this is good.
The wife and I do not get down with Valentine's Day, which is,
that's fine.
Yeah, it's just something we've just never. It was one of those deals where it was like I was willing to embrace it if she did, like if she was a person that loved Valentine's and expected the world on Valentine's Day, because there are people out there that do that look at that date and say, I need everything and need to be recognized and whatever. And I always kind of looked at it like, I don't need a specific day to prove to you that you are the world to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't need one day to tell me that. And luckily,
I agree.
She felt the same way.
Yeah, for some people, you make a day out of it. It's like here's your excuse to go and do something a little bit maybe extra, like a Super Bowl party, right? I'm a Patriots, and I would have loved to have seen the Lions or the Bills or literally anybody else go to the Super Bowl, but I was like, hey, we should all get together and just hang out, and that didn't end up happening. And instead, I got to watch Patrick Mahomes botch it right from this screen right here, which is awesome.
It was lovely. It was great. It was such a good day. I heard a lot of people say, they were bored with the Super Bowl. I can't get bored. It's honest, again, Colts fan here. I can't get bored watching a team that constantly is in it get annihilated. Like when everybody's finally when we would, get to the point where, old Tom Brady would, get his footballs deflated or whatever. I was all about it. I thought that was a fantastic time. So I felt the same way about this. It's just like, it's time for somebody else. It was like, cause we went through it with the, before when Brady kind of came onto the scene, we were doing that with the Rams. It was like, okay, we're tired of the greatest show on turf. We want somebody else. And so that first year that Brady came in and they annihilated the Rams, like it was beautiful to watch. And I remember rooting for the Patriots. And now I think back to that and I'm like, oh God, I feel dirty. Like I needed a shower after, thinking about that. So it was nice. It was nice to see the Eagles do what they did. I, for one, loved the halftime show. And
I did too.
It was spectacular. Overall, I thought, it was a foregone conclusion for me by the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter. So I think I did tune out. The commercials weren't great. They were okay. So I kind of tuned it all, like I said, tuned it all out and went and did other things by, the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter. So it was what it was. But, frankly, I've just been counting down. My Valentine's gift this year is the fact that Cobra Kai season 6, part 3 came out today. and I am excited about it. On top of that, they're also giving me the newest Captain America movie, and I'm like, my God, this is a spectacular week. This is a fantastic week. You cannot tell me this week is not. No matter what happens else in this week, you cannot tell me this week isn't fantastic, because I'm getting Cobra Kai and I'm getting a new Marvel movie, and I am all about that. But that's all in the news, Mr. Bricks O'Brien. We've got some other lovely news happening in the Lego sphere. According to Jay's Brick blog, Lego Ideas has announced the newest winner of the Build from the Heart Challenge with Modular Maniacs Lovebirds, and it'll go on to become the newest Lego Ideas set. Model depicts a pair of brick-built lovebirds perched on a very cool brick-built tree with pink blossoms. We don't know a release date yet, but we can all pretty much circle the calendar for February of 2026, or probably maybe January leading up to it. That's what happened this year. We had a lot of the love sets kind of come out in January leading into February. Here's my question. We already had a set. We already had a lovebird set that came out. They just look different. So I'm like, well, okay. Yeah, like I don't know. Sometimes I'm tired. Like, we're just getting treading in the same area, like we're just updating sets and coming up with different things. Not to knock the ideas, the submission or anything like that, but it's like we've had a pair of lovebirds sitting on a perch that is designed around Valentine's love.
I would argue this is not meant to replace that, but it is meant to replace and pay homage to the bonsai tree, because that is one of the most one of the best selling Lego sets that has come out year over year. It's still available and people still want it, and it sells out, and it's cool. And essentially, this is just a tree with the cherry blossoms on it, right? So it carries a lot from the bonsai tree. So I kind of see it like that. You could have a totally different tree design. You have the bonsai leaves. I'm sorry, you have the cherry blossom trees leaves on it. And then you could, I think they're going to change up the bird color. I'd like to see something different besides like just standard pink for both of them, or at least add some accents somewhere. I don't know.
I'm sure they will.
What species. Yeah, like I don't know what species of bird these are technically supposed to be, but I think
it's bird representation more.
Yeah. So I think if you give this a really nice stand, you have the tree build be very distinct from bonsai, I think you could see this being a very highly appealing set for a lot of people.
Gives us an opportunity for more pink frogs.
Yeah. Yeah, that move that they did with that is like one of the best Lego fun facts ever. And one of the things people love about that set the most is that when you look at it, it's tiny frogs. And I feel like Lego doesn't do that often enough with that really obvious, unique part usage,
Yeah, they do it with a set that I'm going to talk about later when we get down to Z's faves. And we'll explain that here in a little bit. But there's another set that I felt like that did that is something that you guys should all be picking up. But I mean, that's a good way to look at this set, is what could they do to plus it up a little bit? And that's the beauty of ideas, is Lego's going to take the idea, the concept, right, and supposed to improve upon it. They don't always improve. Sometimes I feel like they take a little bit of a step backwards when it comes to these things. But in this case, we're hoping that they, improve upon it and make it a little bit more detailed and stuff and such. In other news, voting is now open, speaking of ideas, for the Lego Ideas 90s Throwback Challenge. We had the 80s Throwback Challenge. Now we got the 90s Throwback Challenge to decide which of the 5 finalists will be turned into future Lego sets. There's some great picks, but these were the ones that stood out to me. And it's mainly because I literally just destroyed every season of this show with my wife. My wife was a big fan of the X-Files when she was growing up. I watched like the first season, like some of the first season. And the fact that there is an idea set out there that depicts the X-Files and encompasses it, it really is the Office set, Mulder's office in the FBI, where you could just have a ton of Easter egg type of things. My only concern with an X-Files type set turning into an idea set is that a lot of those Easter eggs are just going to be depicted in stickers, and then what's the point? Like, that's where they tend to go with sets like that. It's the easy out for them. I'm hoping that, in a way, I hope that set doesn't become reality, because I just feel like that's where it's going to go. It's just going to be a bunch of stickers on a bunch of newspapers and things, and it's like, whatever. But there were some other intriguing options, like Edward Scissorhands. I thought was kind of an interesting idea. I don't know if they could do that set justice without it feeling like they really consolidated parts and didn't, because it's the idea is the castle or where he kind of grew up and stuff like that. I'll tell you right now, there were other things like Fifth Element was another one. I feel like the set that is a foregone conclusion is the Jumanji set. I feel like that's the one that wins. Like, wins out is a concept that easily can be converted into an interesting Lego build that can benefit from the idea of it being a board game that converts into, the house and stuff like that. I feel like you can do some interesting things with that set, which I really, really like. But the set that I want more than anything in the world is that Buffy the Vampire set. I want the library from Buffy the Vampire. And I find it interesting because timing wise, it's perfect. They are just now getting back. They're just now talking about this reboot of Buffy the Vampire, almost like a sequel reboot of sorts. Sarah Michelle Gellar has been talking to the filmmakers and stuff about rebooting this thing and not wanting to do it unless the script is right. She's finally excited about the project. Like, I'm really curious to see if, like, all of a sudden all the timing works out and the tea leaf, everything aligns, right, timing wise. So, did any of these stand out, or any of the other submissions stand out to you from a 90s throwback standpoint?
For this round, no. I think the Jumanji, you could make an argument. I think it'd be really successful. I don't think it will be, because the pop-up book is one of the notoriously not great selling ideas that have ever come out. Mm. So this concept of like an interactive book sort of deal, I don't think will resonate the way people want it to. Maybe Jumanji is different, but there's that. Yeah. Other than that, I have no opinion, unfortunately, on any of these.
Yeah, I think Fifth Element's just, I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do Fifth Element.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
And that's kind of the way I felt about the Edward Scissorhands one too. It's like, you could do a castle, but you end up doing the castle area with just, it could be interesting with the open back, but part of the charm of Edward Scissorhands was the juxtaposition of that dark, moody castle to the bright colors of suburbia, right? And that set doesn't represent that. And so part of me needs that along with it. If you could do a castle with some fun brick built bush ornament things that he's designed, the rabbit ornament, the bush or whatever, a bear or whatever, like, you can do those things in brick built form. It could be interesting too. But yeah, unfortunately, the two I think I was most excited about were two that I just don't know if you can do a whole lot Easter egg wise without just doing a bunch of stickers. And it's Buffy and it's X-Files. I feel like, I don't know if any of these scream exciting builds to me.
I think we're due for a proper Lego haunted house, and I don't want the Scissorhands house or castle to hit the quota. I want like a proper original castle. And this to me does not exemplify what I want out of a Lego haunted castle or something. So I just have no opinion.
Yeah.
I don't,
the overall diorama, like I said, the diorama display style of the X-Files, I think works the best.
Correct.
It's just, I'm worried that it's just going to be like all of your fun is going to be with stickers. But as far as you get a plethora of minifigs with it between, the obviously the two leads, Mulder and Scully, they like that they got the alien kind of mixed in there. You can do Skinner, their boss, in there. And then the smoking man which would be, interesting. I'm not sure if they would call him by his real name. I don't think they would put Smoking Man on the Lego set, but maybe they would. Nothing is knocking my socks off like what they did with the 80s. The 80s one like really got me excited and jacked about it. The 90s feels very dull right now. Like, where's I mean, I know where it is. They've already got it. They've already got plans for it, and they don't want to do it. And that's Power Rangers. They have that locked in, baby. Like if they can make the deal with what is it, Saban or whatever? Like if they can make the deal with them and just sign on the dotted line, that set is done. That set is concepted. That set is designed. It's in a box, as Brian would put it. They just need to sign on the dotted line to get the deal done. They're never going to approve an idea set with that property because they know that they can print money with that one, and it will be our new Voltron for this decade, right? So don't think that just because it's getting denied from the ideas thing that it's not going to happen, because it's probably going to happen. That's all the lovely news that we have for you. But we are in the love month here, and to help celebrate Valentine's Day and all of the emotion behind it, it's got me thinking about our love for Lego, our individual love for Lego, whether it be an AFOL, whether it be, a casual Lego fan. Everybody always seems to have a story about what got them into Lego, what started their love for Lego. And I want to know not only what Mr. Bricks O'Brien has to say about what got him started into Lego, but I want to know what all of our audience, what got them into Lego. So if you can add a comment under this video here about what got you in love with Lego that first time. Brian, what was it? What was that moment that you fell in love with Lego?
I've always had an affinity for stuff that's larger than life, stuff that you could, not replicate in reality. Anyway, I wasn't a Lego City kind of a guy. It's the more comic inspired stuff, colorful, vibrant, whatever. And when you have video games being one thing in a digital realm, what is the toy that is consistent, can be built upon for years and years and years, both, literally and metaphorically. Lego was the one that kind of just stuck. I loved the form factor of the minifigures. I like how consistent they are, at least in terms of scale and style. We've gotten obviously many different molds and variants and big figs and blah, 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 blah. And I've never felt like, Lego has come out with something and it doesn't fit the system. It doesn't fit the vibe. I think even after all these years, Lego has been able to keep it consistent, which is unbelievably tough, especially today when things move so quickly. So they are learning to have fun within their own system that they've built. And that is super appealing to me as a creative person too. You're trying to keep a certain flow between everything. And it's just tough. Like I would look at like action figures, and they all have different qualities of plastic. They all have different levels of detail. They all have, different manufacturers. And I'm like, all right, there's a lot of stuff. And every company has a different license, a different whatever. What's the closest we can get to having everything kind of under one roof with a fun spin on it? And it was Lego. So once I understood that, I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to stick with. And I haven't ventured into a Gunpla or a pop figure or anything else because, you can not only collect a whole bunch of it forever, but you can also make something else beyond what you purchased from the get. You can't bring a action figure collection to a convention and have it be displayed for, 4 days at a time. Maybe you can, but then if everybody does it, well, then everybody looks like they got the same thing. But with Lego, you can create something very unique and specific to what you are interested in and what you love, and showcase that using that system that they've built. So I think that is all of that combined is why I love it. as much as I don't buy every single little thing and whatever. That's what keeps me going to like a brick world or brick slopes or something like that, you know?
Do you remember your first Lego set?
I think it was Jack Stone. Forever ago. It was like I think a Jack Stone helicopter, which, Zach, you are not a classic Lego fan, so you wouldn't know this. Jack Stone is of the same equivalent of like a Galador, of a I don't even want to say Bionicle, because Bionicle is even more popular. Basically, it was the garbage that nobody in the Lego realm wanted, to the point where I went to a brick fair a couple of years ago, and people were stoning other creators' displays by hiding Jack Stones everywhere. And they're so cheap that I like found one in a urinal one time. So they just totally disregard all this Jack Stone stuff. And the minifigures look a little weird, almost like Mega Bloks. They look more akin to like a Mega Bloks. It's not Duplo. It's not. It's weird. And I remember having like a fire truck that had a wailing siren as like a piece, and it's just so wonky. So those were one of my first, and then my actual first set that I remember and really enjoy is, I believe it's called Ogle's Command Center, and it had this very distinct base plate on it when they were still making these unique base plates with the printing on them and whatever. Released in 2001, it has these skull creatures with spears, and Ogle has like a gold visor on him. You can launch the spaceship out of there. It's got like a big skull on the front of the base. It's objectively a very like, ooh, I'm a 10-year-old boy. What's cool? Skulls and red and translucent orange. Yeah, it's super cool. And I do have that one. Not from my childhood, but I did repurchase it, I think 6 years ago, for like $60 new. And I'm like, yeah, I'm buying that. So there's other ones too, but that's the first proper Lego set besides Jack Stone.
Were those sets coming out in that 2001 time, for that 1990 to 2003 time frame where they were trying to find their way?
Yes, actually.
Gotcha. I mean, I like it when Lego tries to. I mean, I'm a big supporter. I can't afford to buy them because, we've talked. I got to draw the line somewhere, but I'm a big supporter of Lego trying new stuff like the Dreams sets. I think the Dream sets are cool. I think they look neat. I like the minifigs with them. I like the Friends stuff. I think the sets look neat. I don't care if they're mini dolls or not. So I don't mind them swinging for the fences on stuff like that. I think it's nice, and I think it's they may take big swings and have big misses, but every once in a while they're going to knock something out of the cart. Out of the park. I didn't have a whole lot of Lego growing up. I had just boxes of like miscellaneous bricks, but man, I took everything apart as a kid. Like I was always like finding something to take apart in either my grandparents' house or my house or whatever. And so having a educational toy of sorts where I could take stuff apart and put it back together again real easily by connecting blocks and stuff. It was I had a lot of toys that were kind of like that, right? Like obviously Lincoln Logs were like one of the ones that you had where you could easily stack stuff and try to be creative with it, but to a extent, right? You couldn't go completely out of the box. And then there were Connects toys, I think is what they were called. Yep. I had those, man. I figured out how to, this is obviously timely because we got this big thing coming out later, but I was able to create a whole Starship Enterprise out of these Connects, and I'm talking big, man. This thing was like ginormous, and it was solid, and I could do stuff with it. So Lego was the next logical, obviously, step for me in that journey of building things, connecting things, and taking them apart and being, engaging with my imagination. And that's what I loved. I just loved, just finding ways to make something. I would make storylines out of my Lego and, have big fleets of spaceships, even though I didn't have classic space Lego. I just had blocks, right? But I would still figure out a way to make spaceships out of those blocks. And it was fun. And then I got my first my first real Lego set that was actually purchased for me was the Blacktron set. And that's why this newest release was such a big deal for me, because I mean, that was kind of like the first set that I ever had as a kid, like real set with paper instructions was a Blacktron set. So having a set like that was has always stuck with me. And you know, man, I had to take a big long break in in my early teens, through probably junior high and high school. But man, that was like, I got a ton of, I got money for graduating high school. Right. And that was right when Star Wars Lego was coming out. And my cousin and I, who are both massive Star Wars nerds, we were like, let's go to whatever. I don't remember what store it was at the time, but it's like, let's go to the store and let's go buy some of that Star Wars Lego up, man. We went there and we had our wad of cash we got from graduating. Right. And we took one look at those prices and we said, no way, man. I think we each bought like one small set. I think, well, small for us. I think he got the Darth Maul ship or something at that time, and the
Infiltrator,
yeah. And I think I got the pod racer. Or something.
When I graduated high school, I got the Fairground Mixer in 2014.
I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah. So my uncle Paul does a Christmas Village every year. So whenever there's been like a fair or a winter house or something like that, I'm like, oh, I could add this to the Lego section of the Christmas Village. And this, I mean, it's like, 3 times the size of your studio, at least, of just all the Department 56 houses, right? So anything that could hold a candle to that. But the unfortunate thing is when he buys a house for $100, it's one thing and it's always complete forever. I got to build all of it. So not only is it double the price, but it takes 10 times as long to implement something. So I got this one little thing, and so, I even starting like all those years ago, if you think you're starting in high school, you want to build up your collection. It never ends. It's never.
It does never end. I mean, they continue to, we're facing it now. We've got a bunch of new sets coming out in March. We had a ton of new sets come out in January. February was a little light, but I feel like you got to have those light months. I mean, February was still like, don't get me wrong, February still had a lot of big releases, but March is right around the corner. But one of the initiatives that Lego took, just, like your Galadors of the world and everything like that, wasn't necessarily on the actual construction side of it or the design side of something, but it was an idea. And the idea was to build it together. And right now on the Builder app that you can download to your smart devices and peruse and use as instructions and things like that, they have a build together section on the app. And the idea is it encourages people that, to build with their friends or family at the same time, the same set. So not all of you build the same sets, but work together on the same set. It's a fascinating concept. They have over 512 sets available in this build together platform on their app. And you download the app, you all sign in. There's like a code, like think of it like a Jackbox code, right? Like you all play a game together, right? It's all built together. So you all put in the code and then it brings up the instructions and it gives everybody a job. It says, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. This is how you do. This is how you do. And eventually it all comes together and all makes a set. I love that. I think it's fantastic that they're doing that with not just flower sets, right? Like you start asking a lot of other media all over the internet, like, list some of your favorite Valentine's sets that you can build with your loved ones. And everybody goes to the botanicals. No, they got 512 sets on this app, Brian. Like you can step outside of just the flowers and build with your family and friends the same set. And I think that's so dope. They were putting the idea on the box. They started that with the Jazz Quartet, which I think is a fantastic set. Currently retired. Love that set. If you can find it for a decent price, I think you should own that set. I think it's fantastic. It's a great idea set. But they had a little icon on the box that encouraged people to build together because everything was in separated books and had separated elements. And then by the end of it, all came together. I don't know why they went away from that. I'm not sure why they're not putting those on more sets with the idea of, hey, you can do this with multiple people in your house, like encouraging, promoting, advertising of sorts, this initiative of build together. Have you ever used that portion of the app and sat down with a friend or loved one and put something together?
Well, there's nobody to my left and right, so I have nobody to split the build with. So,
hey, you know what?
No.
I'll tell you what. You're gonna go out this Valentine's Day, Brian, and you're gonna find somebody. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna walk up. You're gonna do a Joey from Friends. Hey, how you doing? Want to go back to my place and snap some bricks together?
And that's not a metaphor either.
It's not a metaphor. I'm talking Lego, baby.
Legit. I'm Bricks O'Brien. How you doing?
Brian, how you doing? Why do you think they're not putting this initiative on boxes to help encourage it?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory when you crack open a box and you see all these different, I guess, bags. Like I assumed each of the jazz quartet members were their own bag or their own thing. So like, why, I guess, confuse people with being like on the front or the back of the side of the box? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? But like when I think big corporate identity, it's like you want to make the messaging as clear as possible. So if you say, oh, you can build with multiple people. Well, does that mean it comes with multiple of each of the characters so we can each build one? No, it means that you can split it up. No, but it says I can share. So maybe that's why they're like, forget it.
I guess but why?
It's stupid. I agree. But
yeah, but that's the thing is like, why open it up? Like, why even have it available on the app? Why not?
Well, the app infers that you already bought it. So that's kind of the thing.
Well, right. But like it's not buried on the app by any means. Like it's literally, you just kind of scroll down a little bit and there's a section for it. So at least it's not like on the main section of the screen. Like you got to scroll, down a little bit. I don't know. It struck me. I got kind of excited about the idea of them advertising this component of a build where you can encouraging people like, hey, you can build together on this. And they walked it back. They're just like, we're not gonna, maybe it's exactly what you said. Maybe they're just like, we don't want to confuse people. I don't know. I feel like that they had the branding in place for it. They went through the time to, go through 512 sets and figure out how to break them all up to be split. And I'm talking like, it's like 4 people. Like you can have this thing, you designate how many people you want and it'll break the set up. Like that's dope. Like that is sick that it gives you that opportunity.
Sidebar. Can we talk about the scale of the picture that we have showcased on the right here? This makes no sense. It's the minifigures building with the smaller bricks on a big dish with the mini brick. What?
It's like they're building with their own pieces. They're
building with themselves.
Yeah, they're building with. Is this like the Lego version of cannibalism?
This is gingerbread house metaphor.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think about it until you said it, and now I'm completely disturbed by it. So let's go away from that. That being said, if you did have somebody to the left or to the right of you or behind you or whatever, or, you go out this weekend and you end up, picking up the target demographic and you say, hey, come back to my place. Let's click some bricks together. What are some of those sets that you would try to build with that person? Or on the flip side, what would you encourage people to sit down maybe this weekend and build with their family, friends, loved ones? What are those sets?
I have only one suggestion, and it's very niche. And it actually does not apply to me at all.
Okay.
I couldn't envision a better building experience for you to have with your significant other than to sit down at 9 a.m. on Valentine's, on that Saturday, whatever. You go on to HBO and you crack open the box for Rivendell and watch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings all day and build Rivendell together. That is so easily split up amongst multiple people. You got all sorts of minifigures involved. You got a great building experience. It's beautiful when it's done. If you're a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan, like that is that like I can't. And you can do the first and the second and the whatever breakfast, whatever you do, all the gimmicky, whatever Lord of the Rings people do. I don't know. I have no clue. But like that is the definitive way. If you got two Lord of the Rings people, match made in heaven. That's it right there.
I did the exact thing. I was down after Achilles surgery. And it was, I had to scoot my butt. I had to scoot down the stairs on my butt down to the basement. But by God, I was doing it. And I got all set up. The family set me up on the couch down in the basement. We got a little, card table, slid it over to me. And then my wife and my son, they went and got their tables and they sat down and we turned on the first Hobbit movie, the extended edition in the first Hobbit movie. And we all just started building. We did that exact thing. We all just started building. And we got all the way through the end of the Fellowship of the Ring extended edition.
Wow.
And it was amazing marathon experience to build Rivendell that way. Obviously, we were stopping because we were watching the movie and stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like that's part of it. That's part of the fun. It's not like rushing through it. It's taking an opportunity to sit and experience and have a good time with people while you're building. Right? I think Rivendell's a freaking slam dunk of an idea set to do that.
Did I steal that from your list?
It's on my list, but that's the thing. I think there are other sets out there that you can still. There are 512 sets according to Lego's app. There are 512 sets that you can do this with. And I think Rivendell is a slam dunk. I don't know if it's the best set out of all of it. It might be. It's definitely been one of the best experiences I've had, building with my family. And the set in general is a lovely set. It's one of the best sets that Lego has done. I don't tend to pick favorite sets, or a favorite set. I tend to pick favorites. Like I have sets that I really love at those tier systems, whatever you call it. I mentioned this earlier with the set we were talking about it with the bonsai tree and the parts usage of the bonsai. I think one of the coolest parts usage sets ever was the insect collection. I thought they knocked it out of the park with like, oh my God, they're using this for this, or they're using that for that. They're using, revolvers for feet or legs or whatever. I thought it was great. That there is a amazing set. That you can easily break up and build with multiple people. And again, we're getting out of the flowers. Like it's not just flowers. Yeah, you can do all this with the flowers. You can do all this with the flowers. You can do this with, like I said, 512 different sets. But think outside the box when it comes to Valentine's Day and taking the opportunity to build with loved ones, right? And flowers just aren't always it. The insects are great suggestion here that you can do that with. I personally, after building it, for the first time, really like engaging with and doing an original modular outside of something that was just a Marvel modulars. After I got done with it, I was like, man, I would have loved to have my wife sit down and build this with me. I would love to have my son sit down and build this with me. It's a 3-tier system, whatever. Like we could have had a really good time with this set. And gotten them to the point where they got to experience all the little details of what a modular is and how it all works together and connects and the different, levels connect to each other. Boy, yeah, sitting down and doing Tudor Corner with somebody this year. Oh, it'd be amazing because you're all going to geek out over the same stuff. Like you're all going to geek out and show each other the same weird things that are going on and the way that they connected this or what they're using for that. Or God, Tudor Corner this year was just a knockout, man. It was so good. Such a good set. So doing a modular like that would be absolutely incredible to do as a family, I think. There are other, go ahead.
No, I agree. I was actually thinking Last year I went to, I know we're talking about what you have for recommendations here. Very quickly, when I was with my grandparents visiting in Florida, I was bullied into buying Lego at Target and not at the Lego store at the VIP points. And I'm like, ugh. So I bought the Disney Duos as a set to build for giving everybody one of them. So that's another good, you build one from each of the franchises and combine them together. That's what I was thinking.
Disney Duos is great. You know, this goes against a little bit of what the build together theme is, but if you, I've done this remotely with, you know, people on via Twitch and whatnot, but having the same 3-in-1 and building alternate versions of that 3-in-1 is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like where you each individually get to do one and put it. I like that. I think 3-in-1s are great anyway, but that really does provide, you know, an opportunity for people to express like what speaks to them most in those 3-in-1s. Dude, they even have Bricklink sets on the Build Together app. You can literally break apart. They have it designed where you can break apart the Bricklink sets and have up to 4 people building those things together. That's crazy, dude. Like 512 sets. They got all the Harry Potter sets. All the Harry Potter sets, man. Think about, you know, the Lord of the Rings thing. Think about doing Diagon Alley, right? Putting on the Harry Potter movies. Everybody's sitting around. Everybody takes a building. Like Diagon Alley would be fantastic.
If you had a group of 5, you could do the bank along with it. So one person, well, you could do 6 actually. If you had each of the buildings, Gringotts, and then the underneath. If you have a half dozen people, that'd actually be a lot of fun. If there was a
great
event or something, that'd be super cool.
Yeah. It's hard to get into and actually see what I really wanted to do was see if like you could get into it and like see the instructions and how they were broken out, but you need like other people to sign in.
Yeah.
To the thing.
I think it's just a matter of like somebody internally, you know, 1 or 2 people, it's their project to be like, all right, we're going to separate this out. I mean, they're all divided by bags, right? So as long as the sets are bagged up with individual buildings and stuff, or, you know, split up in whatever way they need to be, I don't think it's a lot of work to go into the instructions and be like, all right, dictate whatever. And
it wouldn't, you know, and taking on a set like, what would it be? The, I don't even know if this is on the app. Actually, I was looking, trying to look and see if I could find it real quick because it popped into my head. But the Milky Way, you know, that's a set that people look at and it is not. Actually, that's funny that the Milky Way is not considered a built together set because that is
no, of course not. No way.
Well, it's done in sections. It's done in plates for the most part.
Yeah, but like that's kind of boring.
But see, okay, but my point is like that's a set that when you look at originally, it can be very intimidating, right? Like as an example, Spider-Man's available for build together.
Which Spider-Man?
The wall art set. I know.
That's weird.
See what I mean? Like, it's interesting the ones that are available for build together versus the ones that, like Milky Way's not. Like, they just they don't have that one available for a build together set. I find that fascinating. But boy, Milky Way would be a great one to try to figure out how to split up and do together because it is overwhelming. It is daunting. Like when you see all of those, the way Lego paced it, it's okay. Like it's really not that bad at all. Like it's actually really it was enjoyable for me. Okay. And this is a guy that doesn't really like building the repetitiveness of like a botanical, right? Like it never felt repetitive. And so being able to do that in that way, I think is fine. But you know, I don't know. I just think, it would behoove Lego to advertise this more and say, hey, this is, and put it on the box. Put it on the outside of the box.
I don't think it behooves them because they're too busy behooving those botanicals, which that was their Valentine's Day initiative. They had the here we have the activation in Central Park where we can have our adoring fans come by and experience the wonderful nature of the Lego Botanical Collection. And here's my Instagram opportunity, and here's my, go into the flower cart with the wall and pose with the neon sign that says live, laugh, love, and the blah, 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 blah. Like, I get it. So I think that's just where their focus is at. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
The other one, whole series that I think would be fun to do together as a family would be the yearly Christmas set. That's kind of like your Christmas tradition, like sitting down.
Yeah, you kind of have the main building generally. Like this year, I think it's designed for a family, a young family, and you have the 7-year-old, the 10-year-old, and then maybe some adults are participating as well. Because obviously, you have the main building, and at least in the case of last year, you had the balloon,
Mm-hmm.
then you had all the little stuff next to it, right? So that's very like, okay, you're going to give the smaller thing to maybe the younger of the siblings and whatever. But I don't think by and large, like the main core of it is designed to be split up evenly, besides the one that came out 2-3 years ago. It's the one with the buildings and the trolley car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all on there. It's available. Alpine Lodge is available. They've got them. I would love to try this. I have not used this app to build something, and I would love, to see how they designate some of this stuff, because frankly, so I give you an example. The new Da Vinci flying machine is on this list. How do you take something this small that should really have been a gift with purchase and split it up amongst 4 people? How?
It splits into 4 people.
That's the Build Together app goes up to 4 people.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Couldn't even tell you.
Yeah. It's a wild, I'm telling you, it's a wild app, and it's interesting to see what they've added to it versus what they haven't. So I don't know. I would highly encourage everybody, just download the Builder app, check it out. That's having that app anyway is a good thing, because you can, I've experienced this a lot myself, where I'm building something, especially in the modular, and I really need to see where they're putting something. Right. And you can spin that sucker in 3D and actually see where it goes, as opposed to just that 2D image that you can find in the printed instructions. I've only had to dive into it a couple times, and then they have alternate builds available online for that kind of stuff as well, which is really, really nice. The Venomized Groot was one of those ones where that was how you got the alternate builds for that kind of thing. And I love that they're doing that stuff, man. those are the cool technology initiatives that Lego is doing, man. I dig it. I think it's dope. There's still a purist in me sometimes where it's it's kind of nice to use the paper instructions, but I don't know, man. I've been using the PDFs on my computer screen for years now, and it's just to me, it's just secondhand nature now. I'm just that's how you do it. So I love that Lego is still incorporating or trying to push the envelope a little bit when it comes to technology and how they utilize their sets. I think it's a lot of fun. Well, Mr. Bricks O'Brien, man, that is our look through Valentine's in Lego world. You got some big Valentine's Day plans this evening.
What are you talking about? I got nothing going on. I'm doing a love advice with Brian Saviano on Twitch exclusively Valentine's night, and then I do the thing that I love every day, which is this sort of stuff. Getting to be around people that I enjoy and be fired up about it all. Right, so I'm happy about that. So very grateful to remember that.
The heart-shaped pizza is all part of the love advice Friday night.
It's not gonna be a heart-shaped, but I'm gonna order the pizza. I was very generously gifted a Uber Eats gift card, so I'm gonna have a pizza Uber Eats here, and then once it's here, then I'll end off the live stream. Which, by the way, dude, getting food delivered through Uber Eats or whatever. Holy mackerel, that's expensive.
It's
like,
dumb.
wow.
Yeah, it's dumb. I
got one pizza. It was during my birthday thing. I got a pizza and lava cake from Domino's, and it was like $40 with the tip and everything. And I'm like, what on earth? Why?
Yeah, I'm not sure when that all of a sudden spiked as high as it did, but they started adding a bunch of extra fees and stuff, and then they upcharge the food itself on top of that. So they're, and then on top of that, you get, you need to tip the driver for doing this.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, I didn't, it's just it's a weird time that we live in now. Cause I've gone, I've sat there and I've waited at a Starbucks or at a Chick-fil-A or something like that. And they're prioritizing that Uber Eats. There's like a specific lane now dedicated to food delivery services. Right. And they prioritize getting those orders out the door versus the people that are actually standing there in the lobby. It's a fascinating time.
I kind of would too. Just get them out of here. Like, get them out of the way. And I don't understand them. Maybe somebody, if you made it this far into the show, enlighten us in the comments. I don't understand the mentality of I'm going to sit here and pay 35% more for my food as a single or small household, right? If it's just two people, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the family of 5 that, getting all the kids' snow boots on is an excursion and deliveries. I mean, for let's say a single individual, you pay $40 to have the food delivered to you when you can just go into your car and pick it up yourself. And you're like, oh, well, it's not technically worth my time if I go and get it. It seems like such a waste of money. How do people do it? I always pick up my food. Always. I never ever. Last time I did delivery before this gift card was like when my car got totaled in 2020 and I literally couldn't go anywhere. And I'm like, all right, I'll, Uber Eats Jimmy John's. And then it was like $30. So I don't get it.
I've definitely been lazy enough to where it has been I have a craving for this or that. Right. And I will.
But it's cold by the time it gets to you and it's driven by somebody who you don't know. You don't know. Like you don't know.
Oh, I get it. Trust me. I feel like I've never really had a good experience. I take that back. There was one time I had an Uber Eats driver drop it off, and he said, which is odd, but he was like, I noticed you didn't order a drink with this. Would you like a Coke? I have Coke, I have Sprite, I have Diet Coke. And he was like literally driving around with like 24 packs of cans in his trunk. And
well, that separates,
that tip, baby, man. That is customer service to the extreme, dude.
Those are the people that go above and beyond. And you know what? Those are the people that are also not going to be doing that food delivery thing for too long because they're going to get into that career and they're going to find their footing. Because like most people I've encountered in a food delivery thing, they're just like, all right, boot up the app. Here's a couple bucks to do this. And it's kind of a nonchalant whatever thing. When I did the Domino's order, it was a Domino's employee that drove it to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I answered the phone on my Uber Eats, like, no, Domino's. I'm like, oh, all right.
So I've also had that happen where I've ordered, this happened to me in, I think it was in Las Vegas on a job. And I ordered Domino's or Papa John's. It was like just some normal pizza chain or whatever to be delivered. And it's because you're stuck. Like I'm literally stuck in a hotel working.
That situation is, if you're working a show, it's different.
Yeah. Right. But instead of a Domino's driver or whatever it was, they sent out their own Uber Eats style driver. They like third partied that thing and sent that person out with the order, and the order was like wrong. And the person was like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, cause they weren't a representative of the particular pizza chain or whatever. And so it's like, what happened? Like, what what's going, like they literally just contracted with like, you know, a delivery service at that point to deliver their food instead of using their own hired employee to go do it. I thought that was odd. I was like, if I wanted that, I would have ordered it through the Uber Eats.
Similar thing with like ghost kitchens and stuff. You've heard about this, right?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
I
don't like those. I've tried it.
No.
I've used it on set before, and it's never been a good experience.
There's a reason why Mr. Beast is focusing on chocolate bars instead of hamburgers now.
That's exactly right. Well, thank you all for focusing in on this show. We appreciate you all. We love you all. Make sure you check us out all over the internet at Bricks O'Brien, at Zach M. Rutledge. And if you're here on YouTube, make sure you leave a like, comment, and if you have not yet, subscribe over here. We greatly appreciate it. Or you can check us out over on our podcast channels like Spotify and Apple Podcast, or pretty much anywhere you can find your podcasts these days. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Valentine's Day weekend. And we will catch you guys on the next one next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live here on YouTube. Until then, everybody. Bye.